A second stimulus package could put money in your hands, irregardless if you get back to work or not. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is a second stimulus package and stimulus check update from LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. This is our second of 3 stimulus package updates for today. Earlier, we delivered shocking news about when a stimulus package will likely get approved. And coming up later today, really riveting information about PUA and UI, unemployment benefits. How you can get them and how you absolutely cannot. Your head is about to roll. But let's get right to this video. Really great news. It's coming from the White House again, and it's coming specifically from Steve Mnuchin. Details of the second stimulus package, as you know, have sort of centered around this $1,200 check arriving potentially by direct deposit, or discussions of multiple $2,000 checks arriving to you consecutively until the pandemic is over, or at least 6 months. But there's new questions arising about how about employed people? How about unemployed people? Will they additionally get other types of benefits under a second stimulus package? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the following. As you know, $600 from the federal government was provided for you in the CARES Act per week. From the months of March to the month of July, the federal government allowed for $600 to be given to individuals, whether they are self-employed, PUA, or unemployed as an employee, UI, every single week they're impacted by COVID-19. Well, that's expiring in July. And a lot of viewers have asked me what's going to happen. Well, the White House's Steve Mnuchin now indicates that everything is on the table, meaning he does not want to eliminate anything at the moment. What's really fascinating is that in this debate of the second stimulus package, we have the Democrats on one side, we have Mitch McConnell on the other side, we have the White House right in the middle. And with the Democrats proposing $3 trillion, the Republicans proposing $1 trillion, the White House is right in the middle at $2 trillion. But now Steve Mnuchin's detailing more of what you might see. Steve Mnuchin has clearly gone on the record just within the last few hours indicating that he's aware of 2 scenarios, and this is great news. He's aware of scenarios where people don't have jobs. And he's also aware of people who are going back to jobs but not making enough money because the number of hours are reduced, or the employer doesn't have enough hours for them, or they're sporadic jobs because of COVID-19. Steve Mnuchin says all those scenarios need help. This is great news. A lot of people have been asking me in this channel, hey, is the White House or members of Congress just not in touch? Do they not realize that people are unemployed? They don't have jobs to go back to? Do they realize that some people are going back to jobs, but it's not paying them a lot of money? This is really the best news you can get, because it shows that Steve Mnuchin clearly says that he understands the situation. When asked about the $600 from the federal government, when asked about the Portman plan, which I'm going to get to in a second, and when asked about the Bradley plan, he says, hey, I need to fix everything. I can't just fix one thing, which is really the best words that can come out of the Treasury Secretary's mouth, Steve Mnuchin. So what is he thinking and what is he proposing? Well, Mnuchin understands that there are individuals who come this July may still not have a job. They may either be unemployed under UI or self-employed, and that's a helicopter. Boy, you know who that is. Oh, you can even see the reflection on the camera. Steve Mnuchin's worried that come July, they'll either be unemployed under UI or they'll be unemployed under PUA as independent contractors. He understands that those people need relief. And what I'm talking about is separate apart from the $1,200 second stimulus check or $2,000 check every 6 months. I'm talking about additional money. And Steve Mnuchin says it is basically inept, it is wrong, it is incorrect to think those people don't need money. This is really wonderful, great news, because if you recall, about 2 weeks ago, Mitch McConnell was under a rock when he said that he does not want to extend the $600 per week. He does not want to give benefits for UI and PUA because he thinks that people will never go back to work because he'll create a welfare state. Steve Mnuchin, who has an economic background, unlike the man from Kentucky, who doesn't seem to have anything but a sense of his own mansion, Steve Mnuchin says no. There are people who are going to be unemployed. They're going to need additional assistance. Steve Mnuchin says the Trump White House's focus is to create jobs. But ultimately, some people may still not have jobs. Those people need relief. So he says, if I were king for a day, I would say I would spend the next 30 days looking at a lot of different things. I think we're going to need to fix unemployment. And when he says that, I'm not going to go through the entire quote, but Steve Mnuchin basically says, hey, we need to give people jobs. But if those people can't get jobs, if there's no jobs for them, then we have to give them relief. We can't set them out to dry. And that is great news. He clearly has everyone's interests involved. We will have, when asked about the $600, as you know, that's expiring in July, when asked about this, whether it will be extended, Steve Mnuchin says we have to do something. We will have a significant amount of unemployment, and we're going to have to look at doing something there. There you go. People want their jobs. So Steve Mnuchin is very positive. I love that. He's very positive. He's not negative. There's nothing worse than in a pandemic, someone insulting you. And Mitch McConnell should be ashamed of himself. Saying that people who want jobs are unemployed are sitting back and enjoying a welfare state. That is the most disgusting thing a person, certainly a millionaire on a mansion, could say, that people are sitting back enjoying unemployment and enjoying a welfare state. That's really quite disconcerting. But the great news is that the person who really pushes the microcosm of the second stimulus check for the purposes of the Republican Party, which actually dominates the Senate, Steve Mnuchin, says no. People want to work. Hello, people want to work. And that's unfortunately, when we come to July, when we come to go to vote, they may not have jobs, and we have to give them money. Simple as that. It's really great news. I think we're going to seriously look at whether we want to do more direct money to stimulate the economy. But it's going to be about all getting people back to work. So he's understanding of what the skepticism is. The skepticism of certain people is that people would never go back to work because they're so comfy and enjoying unemployment. I mean, that's just such a finite, that is just an inappropriate way to look at society. But he understands that the way that you get prosperity is from employment. And Steve Mnuchin wants to generate employment. But he understands that if you don't have a job, he's here to help you as well. And ultimately, the Treasury is the one that writes money. I mean, the Treasury is the one that issues checks. The Treasury has the connection with the Federal Reserve about printing more money to stimulate the economy. Those payments would get the green light for the Republicans. Now, so that is for people who are unemployed. As you know, from this channel, I deliver all the news. I deliver news for people who are unemployed, for people who are employed, for people who have a limited amount of hours being given to them by their employer, but want to work 40 hours, but their employer is only giving them 3 hours currently. For people who are independent contractors who lost everything, are still unemployed, or for self-employed people who have gone back to work and have seen just a version of their business, which is very minute now, and are very unhappy. Well, my job for this channel is to tell everyone all the different scenarios, not just one. And here, if you are self-employed or you are back at work as an employee, there are 2 other plans that are also on the books. First, the Portman plan. If you're new to this channel, I've been detailing extensively. Portman is a Republican. He's from Ohio, which, by the way, has been very good on helping our viewers for EIDL loan and grant problems. Ohio, thank you for helping our viewers. So Senator Rob Portman has proposed that every worker who returns to work gets a $450 per week bonus. Okay, so let's go over that. If you go back to work and you are a W-2, You go back to work and you're an independent contractor. You go back and you're a temporary worker. You go back to work in any capacity. I don't care if it's 4 hours this week and that's all you could get because of, the pandemic's impact. He's going to give you $450 a week. He understands when he proposed this, the following. He understood that people want to work, which is great. I mean, this is great news. This is someone who has a mind on, their head screwed on correctly. He understands Americans want to work. No American wants to sit home and not work. They want to work and they want to make money, but he understands that the way that this pandemic is going up and going down, that a lot of people can't get the number of hours that they want, can't get the amount of business that they want, and they're not going to make their obligations. They're not going to make their rent. They're not going to make their utilities. They are not going to make the amount of money they had made in February. So he wants to help them. He wants to give them $450 per week. It's a great idea for people who have some type of part-time, limited or partial job or full-time job to return to. Again, this is the second group I'm referring to. I already dealt with the UI, the unemployed people. Minutia is dealing with that situation, but here's the Portman, which Minutia is also considering for employed people. And understand, when we talk about all these plans, it isn't just one plan and we're not going to do any other plans. I know a lot of viewers sometimes ask me that, and I want to make that very clear to you. So when we're talking about the second stimulus package and we're talking about all these different programs, $1,200 into your pocket, irregardless of whether you have a job or not, $450 if you go back to work, money if you can't go back to work because you don't have a job. Understand that all these things are being proposed to work together at the same time. So don't think that members of Congress just want to give one plan and that's it. That's absolutely not the case. Then there's the Brady plan, not the sitcom. Representative Kevin Brady, a Republican from Texas, which also has not been very good on helping viewers for EIDL, has proposed a one-time $1,200 payment for those who go back to work. So unlike the Portman plan, where he thinks that, hey, you're going to have a problem for a while getting back to work, or you're a W-2 or an independent contractor, I want to give you $450 per week until your problems are fixed. Brady thinks, hey, I'm just gonna give you a one-time payment, $1,200, and tough luck if you have problems after that. I don't particularly like the Brady plan. It's just a little bit like a here you go carrot. These plans sometimes sound like a carrot. I'll give you a carrot. Here's $1,200. Go back to work. And if you're laid off 2 weeks from now, tough luck. Don't come back asking me for more money. That's what the Brady plan sort of sounds like. Or 2 payments of $600. The Portman plan is universally more like Brady just sort of I don't know. He just sort of wants a little publicity for himself. Didn't like Portman's name completely reading all over the place. But there you go. 47 questions about yesterday's stimulus check video about this subject matter. Let's get right to them right now. Yvette Rivera, $2,000 sounds good for stimulus checks. However, let's settle in for $1,200 each month plus $200 in food stamps for 1 year. Interceptor, getting ready for more stimulus. I'm going to say thank you. Positive affirmations, multiple $2,000 payments does sound good. Viewers of this channel and the host, yours truly, does not believe a $1,200 single stimulus check arriving in your bank account right before people try to get themselves elected looks good or works. It is a mess. It is not sufficient. So we need a lot more. Robert Henson, thank you, and share LALATE on Facebook and Twitter. Fearless leader, love the LALATE Low Show. Thank you for supporting this channel as always, especially yesterday again, Robert. And thank you for always sharing us on Facebook, people. That really helps. Andrea, what about people that join Social Security, disability, and retirement? How will this work for them? They are all part of every program. The only program that they would not be part of course, are people who absolutely physically cannot work. So if you physically cannot work in any capacity, then one program may not be included in there. But everything else, yes. Hey, baby, I need my check, baby. I love that. That was another person. KS, my friend asked about EIDL reconsideration email address. Several? No, there's only one, and it's been bouncing. Rosalina Rojas, more propose, more we wait under second stimulus check. Not necessarily. I mean, when the HEROES Act landed in the Senate from the House, the immediate response was, goodbye, don't give this to me, I don't want it. Now, all these other plans are percolating, and reconsiderations or other versions of the HEROES Act are heating up. I mean, that's how Congress works. They debate things. Rob Gabriel, always relative LA. Do you think the go back to work bonus would be retroactive to June? It should be. I mean, Well, Portman, absolutely. He understands you're having problems. He absolutely said in his statements, his citizens, his American citizens, people in his state, his constituents are having problems. They're at back at work. They're not making rent because they don't have enough hours. They're self-employed and they're not getting enough business. Or the restaurant owners, there's no one coming to the restaurant. He understands it's not cutting. People are not cutting it. They're not making it, and so he understands that we can't let them go. Christina Moran, we are starving. We can't pay bills. Very well said. Kevin Lee, hey, like, don't forget about Webull Insurance plugs. No, I will let someone else take care of that. And with the purple background, Christopher Frost, just give me back pay, hazard pay. I've been working all this crap. Has been going. Anyone been lucky enough to get this money? I was married. Should be slamming it down the stock market. I know it's been going. The Heroes Bill proposes $13 for hazard pay on top of your normal base salary for essential workers. So hazard pay is still on the books. No one has said no to hazard pay yet. And in fact, we've never seen any pushback from Republicans about that. So that's good news. Giancarlo Guerra, to get the two $1,200 payments, will the government do 2019 tax returns? No. So stimulus checks are not dependent upon tax returns, at least the $1,200 or the $2,000. Kevin, could you please tell me if New York unemployment is 26 weeks or 52 weeks? Catch me on the PUA video today. That's our third stimulus check video. As always, like and subscribe to this channel. If you have comments, drop them in the comments below, and I'll feature them in tomorrow's recording if I get them by 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shasira Samir, it seems like you support... No, this... sorry. Not going to read your comment. And it's just going on and on and on. Well, I should just toss the paper, but I need to read the good stuff on this page. Carney Guru. So what are they doing for those that have never stopped working? That's a really good comment. There are people who lost a job, people that got their job back, people that lost their job don't have a job back, and then there's people who never lost their job but have been working their asses off and are clearly in hazard situations. Where is their money? I love that comment. That is hazard pay. That's essential workers. What are essential workers is still up for debate. $13 per hour on top of what you're getting. I don't recall under the Heroes Bill if it's retroactive. I think it is, but I'm not positive. I mean, there's just so much to keep track of here. Next, Songs for God. Can you believe rich politicians are stealing emergency pandemic money for you? Jeannie Michaels. This is reopening hasn't even been submitted yet to be discussed. LALATE, something is wondering aloud. The $600 is to be given to people partially unemployed. I wonder if the $600 will give them if for the 400 passes. Yes, I mean, Portman says that he understands that people are back at work. Not everyone. This is for people who are back at work. That some are back at work, they're not making enough money. They don't even have enough hours, or they don't have enough people coming into their business. He says they're not cutting it. He wants to give you additional money. Now, as I said before, I'm not going to say it again because I know someone's going to drop in the comments. How about unemployed people? Steve Mnuchin has you covered as well. Don't think that no one is talking about that situation. So your $600 from the federal government runs out in July. No one in their right minds thinks you're going to be let out to dry and not have any relief from the federal government if you do not have a job in July. Steve Mnuchin fully understands that unemployment is going to be there in July. What number, we don't know, but it's going to be there, and those people need relief. And the relief cannot come from the state government. And I'll tell you why. This is a preview. It's a nice second stimulus check video on PUA and UI. State benefits are paid by states. They aren't paid by federal government. The $600 is the one that comes from the federal government. States have an entire liquidity problem. They have a problem about making their obligations to pay UI benefits. They absolutely have a financial problem about it. Don't be surprised the states have big liquidity problem announcements come later this year. The federal government's totally different. The federal government can print money. The federal government can raise debt. The federal government can afford that and fund the debt by issuing bonds. So the federal government has a lot of instruments, whether it's Steve Mnuchin at the Treasury or whether it's Jerome Powell, who freely admitted, and I'll drop that in the comments, I'll drop that link to that video earlier from the second stimulus. Jerome Powell says he has a lot of methods to invigorate this economy, to help people who are unemployed, that are from the Fed. So there's a lot out there. I hope this is informative. I hope this is assistance to you as we get ready for our third second stimulus check video later today, and it is one that's going to make your head roll. PUA and UI, and why everyone is getting, a lot of people getting confused. As always, stay at LA for more.